We are in the transition between world orders, and we think that 4 furies of geopolitics will determine the shape of things to come. In this, the second of our 4 furies geopolitics video series, I will discuss states versus markets. This area touches on social media, technology, automation, and the underlying battle between public and private sources of power. It has been a difficult year for social media, not in money terms, of course, because companies continue to capture a growing slice of the digital ad market and become more influential in overall media terms. But in reputational and political risk terms, we know a tiny proportion of all that revenue comprised an information operation seeking to influence elections in the US, in Europe, and in other regions. And this has now become a clear and present political risk to these companies. And what's interesting and important is how cheap these operations were to mount. This is a defining feature of the asymmetric threat landscape in general. Threats are cheap, responses are costly. Social media companies have also been sued, unsuccessfully so far, for facilitating the distribution of jihadist propaganda, and they have functioned as a communication, organization, and recruitment platform for Islamic State, other jihadist groups, and right-wing extremist groups. Simply put, regulation has dramatically lagged technology when it comes to data collection and exploitation. Data has become a central battleground between public and private power. The ability of adversaries, from hostile governments to terrorist groups, to instrumentalize and operationalize social media is rising to the level of national security threat in multiple countries. It is dramatizing the power that private actors have over vital public institutions and highlighting a basic shift in power from states to markets. Now the question is, what is going to happen? First, this is very quickly becoming a regulatory risk for companies as various governments look to regulate social media more like traditional media providers. Companies are naturally desperate to avoid this outcome through self-regulation, for example, highlighting posts more clearly as political advertisements. They are also increasing the number of human content reviewers and tweaking automated filters to find extremist posts more quickly and successfully. But these efforts are unlikely to be entirely successful. In the US, the Honest Ads Act has been introduced, which would potentially subject social media platforms to regulations similar to TV and print media for political advertising. In Germany, a social network law went into effect in late 2017, authorizing stiff fines for social media platforms that fail to remove extremist content in a timely fashion. Similar legislation is under consideration in the UK. Now, the debate over extremist use of online platforms, encrypted communications, and so on is not new. The European police agency Europol, in March 2015, described such issues as the biggest problem in counterterrorism, for example. And in Western countries, internet, social media companies are under intensive scrutiny in relation to organized disinformation campaigns seeking to interfere in political processes such as elections. But the risks have gotten complicated because the companies are caught in a broader battle over the authority of government in society. Recent estimates find that millions of jobs in the US and UK, for example, could be replaced by roboticization and automation, further shifting the balance of economic power from labor to capital. The World Trade Organization has just published a study on technology, trade, and jobs. And in its literature review, it found overwhelmingly small and possibly positive effects of technological change on aggregate labor demand and employment. But it also found that technology worsens the relative economic prospects of middle-skilled workers performing routine tasks, which are more easily automated. Big data analytics and artificial intelligence are helping address the problem of information overload created by the information revolution. But in the process, we're trading human error for algorithmic filters.